You're listening to the Living Inside Out podcast, and I'm your host, Toks Aruoture. This is episode 73. Welcome to the Living Inside Out podcast, where we believe in living with intention. Episode 73 is Raising Teens with Intention with Celia Toks and Family. To have Celia Toks and Family. Do you know, when I first saw your name, I thought it was Toks, as in my name.
Oh,
then it clicked one day that is Toks, as in you, because you know.
Well, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No. My surname starts with Toks.
Oh, you're joking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
My maiden name.
Ah.
Yeah. So the Toks comes from my maiden name.
Comes from your maiden name.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's TikTok.
First I thought it was my Toks, and then I thought, oh, we're namesakes. And then I thought I don't know what it was, and I just thought it's Toks from TikTok, but it's not.
No.
Mm-hmm. That's a relief to hear, because TikTok has actually messed my name up. Now, when you search,
true.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's
TikTok. I feel like changing it. So I don't want people to think I put TikTok by my name. That's my life.
Have you got that feedback though? Have other people thought the same?
It was, people have thought it's to do with TikTok. It's not.
Well, you heard it. It is not. And we have also got Rachel and Lizzie. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
And Lizzie is Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But you prefer Lizzie.
Yeah.
That is awesome. You guys familiar with this beautiful family, mom and her daughters, and sometimes grandma shows up as well. And just really, really amazing family on Instagram, on social media and everything. So excited for you guys to be here. Thank you for coming all the way down. Okay, so first I want you to do a proper introduction. Tell us who you are and what you do and why we know you, why the world loves you.
Oh, well, my name is Celia and we do social media. I actually have a job outside of social media. I'm an optometrist, so that's my day job. And we started social media. We started making videos for social media during the lockdown because we were bored at home like everybody else. And then we just got on TikTok. I joined it just to check on them that they were being safe. And then we decided to make videos together and we enjoyed doing that and people enjoyed it. And so we just kept going. So we went from TikTok, we started posting them on Instagram, we started posting them on YouTube. Yeah, and then we just got a really big following, people from all over the world who could identify with the African mums.
Yeah, big time. The most memorable one for me is when, I'm not sure who was in the car, and the teacher comes over and mommy just, was it you? I mean, the switch. I don't know if you've seen that, Susie, and she just, she's speaking all very British, all very proper. No, she's speaking
starting off
Nigerian. Starting off as an African mom, freaking out and everything. What happened to the last 5% or 1% of your
She got 98%. What happened to the last 2%?
And then the teacher comes to the window and she morphs into a completely different person and the way she jumped as well. No, brilliant. Really, really good. So what has life been like for you with this fame and this popularity? How do people respond to you?
At school, it's been pretty much the same. All my friends are, excited about it. Even my friends give video ideas like, oh, Lizzie, you should do this, or you should tell your mum to do this. And I was like, yeah, we should definitely do that. And there's lots of lovely comments on our account saying how great I am. So it's really nice.
How about your age?
Well, at my school, everyone in my year mostly knows, and now it's just spreading to the other years. And sometimes when I walk around school, they're like, oh, she's the girl that's gone. And one time at break time, this whole group of boys from the year below, they started asking me loads of questions about social media. And I was like,
common one is like, oh, how much is your mum making? I saw on this website online she's making so much money.
Wow. That must be something. That's the sort of street cred I craved as a child that I didn't get. I went to boarding house in Nigeria and growing up I was quite shy.
Yeah.
I was chatty, but I was shy.
I was very shy.
Were you shy as well?
That's why my mum will say that people can't believe that it's
That this
me
is you.
doing it, because I was a really shy child.
So how did you evolve from being shy to who you are today?
I think I first started coming out of it when I felt like people thought because people kind of equated shyness with stupidity.
I agree.
And so they thought they could take advantage of you because, she must be, so I had to act not shy. Okay. So I had to pretend I wasn't shy. And then for a period of time, I kind of overdid it. So then people thought I was up myself. What's wrong with this one? Who does she think she is? She's such a snow. And I'm like, it's complete opposite because inside I'm really, really, but I'm just trying to hide it. But I've always loved like the performing and the acting and all that, so that I would always come out of my shell for stuff like that. So so I'm still a shy person. It's all an act, so you just gotta act confident, and then you feel a bit more confident. But
that is interesting. So the more you do you feel though that you're growing in confidence, or do you feel like you're putting on confidence and putting it off again?
I think I'm putting it on and off.
Really?
Yeah. I still have times where I doubt myself. I still have, in fact, they're the ones who talk me down off the ledge. I'll be like, I don't think I want to do this social media anymore. I don't think they're like, Mommy, you've got to just be patient. You've got to try this. Just remember why you do it in the first place. Just remember, don't worry if this, don't worry if that. I'm like, okay.
It happens a lot.
So how do you convince her to keep going?
I think you just forget. I think you forget things that have happened that like shows that this is the thing that you should be doing.
Yeah.
It's just I forget.
And you remind me.
I just remind you. It's just forgetfulness basically.
Yeah. Do any of you feel like you're shy as well?
I'm quite shy when I'm not around my friends because I have quite a small friend group. And then all the other people that aren't in my friend group I just don't really talk to at all. So yeah, I don't think I really have a chance not to be.
But you don't show up in a lot of our skits, do you?
Yeah.
Because part of the reason is that little bit of shyness. So she doesn't want to act. She doesn't mind being filmed when she's doing something normally, but to just, and she can act. That's the annoying thing. But then she feels too shy to actually, go on the skits.
To go on skits.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the social media and the TikToks and everything, the videos have changed you in any way?
Not drastically, but in a good way. I think I've become more confident, about just living in the moment and just being myself, even if I'm like, oh, I don't look good, I don't look good. It's how I look and it's normal. So I think I've just realised, it's okay to, even if in 2 years' time I look back at it, I'm like, oh, I don't like how I look in that. I'm like, it's normal to feel that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think I've learned that.
That's so cool, because it feels as though what you've done is turned social media on its head. And some of the main disadvantages of it, you're actually using it to your advantage.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Because there is really the challenge of appearances and how you look. And
there's this thing going on now with trying to ban children from having phones or ban children off social media. And I've never believed in banning children from social media or anything like that. I've always believed, let them be there, but you have to make sure they're safe.
That's right.
You have to look after them. You have to teach them how to be safe and everything, which is what I did with them. And so they didn't, like when they first started on Instagram, I opened an account.
Okay.
And they had access to Instagram through my account. And then when they had their own accounts, so even like with TikTok, we have this family pairing thing, so I can control when they're on it, when they're off it. So, it's more about making sure children are safe. You can't control,
That's right. Put them in a box.
In the box, these things are happening in the world. They have to be aware of it. You just have to be able to police how much they get and stuff. And they're quite sensible girls as well.
They are. They do seem really sensible girls.
They're quite sensible.
Just for the record, if I were to have daughters, it would be the two of you. We'll put her aside. Maybe we'll give her some boys. But it would be all. I can just see us all three. I can see us going to the hair salon, the nail shop. I can see it happening.
I don't do that. So
see, listen. Let me tell you what I would do if I were your mom. I would even have the same hairstyle as you. I would change my glasses. It would be your glasses. We will wear matching hoodies.
Oh my God.
She's not doing any of that, right?
They don't like it. I say, should we have the same?
I don't mind.
No, I
You don't mind. Lizzie doesn't like anyone having the
I
same.
don't like matching with Rachel because we already look alike already.
Okay.
I don't mind matching with you.
Okay, now you said that. Next time I'm going to buy 333.
As long as it's not ugly, because it's just.
I don't buy ugly things.
No, it's just.
Doesn't she look fly? I mean, I love those colours, you know. And I nearly wore a similar colour of trousers as well.
See,
it's yeah.
great minds.
Okay.
Do you feel, Rachel, that it's changed you at all?
Not really. Apart, because I'm not really in them that much anyway, like in the skits. Apart from just like growing up. And
Yeah.
Because how long have we been doing it for now?
Almost 3 years now. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
So-
Since the beginning of the first lockdown.
Oh,
So apart from just that, I don't think it's changed me that much.
that is awesome. I think that is super cool. So we mentioned shyness. What would you say your biggest mindset block has been besides being shy, or would it be that just being shy?
I think, like what we just talked about, I think it's the forgetting is one, and then going through the whole process again of the self-doubt, and just, this imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm not really that good. Our skits aren't that good. I'm not that good. Content isn't that great. Doubting and just, or not thinking, I don't look good. Like, even I have that same feeling, I don't look good. And there's one particular video that I almost didn't post because I thought, I look big, look at my double chin, my hair, this, when people see me, what are they gonna, and I just thought, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You're a normal, like it says, you're a normal human being.
Yeah, exactly.
So I posted it. That turned out to be one of our highest performing videos.
Wow.
It's the one with the donut.
Oh, wow.
When she said she's eating a donut,
Yes,
I said it's puff puff.
Yes.
That's puff puff. So it's just that, try not to just get negative on yourself.
Yeah.
And from time to time it will happen again.
Yeah.
Then I have to be reminded, it still happens.
It still happens. It's funny because I find that imposter syndrome, it's a real thing. And I believe that the cure for it, if there is one, is learning to find your why and your confidence from inside you, not from outside.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people chase popularity and fame, likes and numbers and followers, not because it's going to feed them. Okay, sometimes it does, but not necessarily because of that, but because they're looking for evidence that they're good enough.
Yes.
And I think that no matter how many, I wouldn't name any names, but there are certain people on social media who have millions of followers and have literally changed the culture of society today based on their appearances, whether it's the BBL or the way they wear their hair, those people.
Techniques or whatever,
So there are people like that, and when you see their behavior and you see the gimmicks that they do, whether it's stripping naked on social media or what have you, it's looking for more and looking for evidence that they are good enough.
Exactly.
Now you have one of the biggest followings on social media in the world, and you still don't feel enough.
Yeah.
So it's never going to come from the outside.
Exactly.
And I think people definitely need to work. So your relationship with the girls is so beautiful to see.
You.
God, that was a
We
cough
hear
that
this
was
so
trying
much, and I was like, how do people know this now? How do people know from watching us doing videos that we
You know what? I'll tell you why. Because everyone can spot a fake. There are people who will put on this fake relationship status and make it look as though they're, and you can tell that it's not real because, truth is something that everyone can identify with and we can recognize from a distance. Or maybe I should say the other way around. Falsehood is something that doesn't sit well with most of us. And it really does look like you have a beautiful relationship. I mean, they're kids, so they can't really hide. The smiles they give on camera is real. It's not false. It's not pretentious. That much I can say. So how have you been able to do that? Especially because I have friends who have tumultuous relationships with their mothers.
Yes.
And I find that in many families, girls and their moms tend to clash a lot. So how have you done it?
Well,
just for the time when I finally adopted.
When you adopt them, so you know.
Exactly, yeah.
I think from when they were little, I prioritized spending time with them. I think a lot of us put other things first. I've got to work, make money. I've got to go to this party. I've got to be there for this. And I put them first. So I had a job that enabled me to be able to support. I mean, I've been a single parent since they were like 3 and 2 years old. And I had a job that enabled me to be able to support myself, the house, everything, working 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
So I made sure I didn't work. I only worked as much as I needed to. I didn't work any holidays. So the whole of the summer holidays, Easter, Christmas, I didn't work. We spent that time together. I made sure I took them to have experiences together. So I think it's the time. I also made sure that I don't scold them a lot. I talk to them. I mean, nowadays I scold them more because they're teenagers and they don't want to do the housework. And you know, like, you've been there for how many days? So, but when they were little, I didn't scold them. I was very careful about their emotions, not making them feel like they were less than. Because I feel like you wouldn't shout on somebody who is your age mate like that, you know.
Wow.
They're still a human soul. They're just younger, so you can't disrespect them just because they're young, just because they're your children. If they made a mistake, even till now, I don't scold them for making mistakes. I tell them, well, it was a mistake, you know. If you do it a third time, so if it's a mistake, you know, you have to talk to them. I think it's just about putting them first.
That's beautiful.
Just putting them first. Work isn't more important than them. I only started working full time when just after this lockdown, I think, where I did the full time.
Really?
Yeah. When they were both in secondary school, she was in year 8, she was in year 9. I always made sure I had time. And even then, I would always make sure I take time off during the holidays and always make them feel free to talk to me about anything.
Nice.
Because if you scold a child for telling you or for doing one thing, then they won't talk
tell
to you
next time. Yeah, I agree
they won't
with
talk
you.
to you. So
that's
and
true.
if you scold them for every little thing they do, like this, the saying, pick your battles. You know, sometimes they'll expect me to tell them off for something, and I'm just like,
So, do you recognize that your mom, the way your mom has raised you, do you see it as different from some of your friends and how they were raised?
I think before I didn't realize that, you know, that other people don't have this great of a mom. And then I think it was the social media. I think it was the social media when people started commenting and saying your relationship's amazing and this and that. And then my friends started saying, they're like, oh, I love your mum so much. She's so amazing. And then I realized, yeah, she is. Yeah.
Rachel.
The same.
Yeah.
The same. My friends say, oh, I love your mum. I love your videos and everything. I'm just like...
And the funny thing is, like, I'm there thinking that I'm not a great mum because unlike other mums, the way in my head, I should, you know, I mean, when they were little, I did this, I'd always be cleaning, always cooking. I never, you know, wanted to be the one that was always cleaning, always cooking when I could be spending time with them. And even now, I don't enjoy housework. I don't enjoy cooking. I'm not one of those moms that, you know, oh, my mom's special something I eat. I haven't got any special something that they... McDonald's, I don't know, you know. Mommy, what's for dinner? I don't know.
Just be fair.
I don't know. What do you want to eat? I don't know. Please, I'm too tired to cook. Go and order yourself something. You know, so I think a lot of times I'm not great. I'm not doing a good job. And then they will say, Mommy, don't say that. You know, love you, Mommy. They were like, don't look. Even my friends, what were you saying the other day? Even my friends say that their moms don't cook. They have fish and chips and fish fingers and chips.
I'd rather you didn't cook than cooking something like
That was rubbish.
You know that McDonald's.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. You know, it's funny because also tying this back to imposter syndrome, I watched it. Someone sent me a video of, I think it was in the state of Texas. They'd done a jollof rice competition between Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ghana. And so what they did was they got these 3 guys to submit their jollof rice, and they did a town hall event and invited the public to come and taste the different jollof rice. And they showed a clip where they got the guys to taste the 3 and see if they could tell which was which.
Yeah.
And one of them tasted it and said, oh, this is not my mom's jollof rice. And immediately a voice went off in your head. Will your boys know what your jollof rice tastes? It's like instantly I started questioning myself that do the boys even know what
Your
my food
jollof rice,
tastes
yes.
like? Will they be able to tell? And then it started to snowball. Then it became, then you're not good enough as a mom. A proper mom, her children will know what their rice tastes. And I just went off. Honestly. So it's really interesting. But with my boys, I've kind of the early part of raising them, I stuck to the status quo, what I thought was the status quo. I even remember as early as my first son in hospital, and he was crying, and the nurse came and said, oh, what's the matter? I said, oh, he's crying, but I don't want him to get spoiled, me holding him all the time. And that's only because that's what I had heard.
Yeah.
But I really do thank God that a point came in my life where I started to learn what living authentically meant. And that was living as you.
Yeah.
Which means that how I raise them is going to be different from how you raise them.
Yeah.
And it's not a right versus a wrong.
Exactly.
It's my way is
Yes.
unique to me and my kids, and
Yes.
your way is unique to you and your kids.
Exactly.
It really helped, and it
Yeah.
made a difference. And I'm glad that happened much earlier rather than later, because as teenagers, like, we can talk for hours now, the boys and I, and we get along like a house on fire. They're really cool kids, and so but it's a thing.
Yeah, I went through something similar to that with Lizzie when she was a baby, because she wasn't a good sleeper, and I remember trying to put her down for a nap, and she was probably like 3 months old, 4 months old, and there's all this advice,
Too much.
do this, do that, do this, do that, and cry it out, leave her to sleep, just leave her to cry herself to sleep, leave her to cry herself. And I would leave her to cry herself to sleep during the night, and then
you'd be burning on the inside. Exactly.
I would sit on the stairs crying because she was crying. Then she would, saw her nappy, I'd change her nappy and put her back, and she'd grabbing me, and it was just heart-wrenching, and I was just, like, oh. Then the next day I'm trying to put her down again for a nap, and I cried so much I ended up calling my health visitor.
Wow.
I said, I don't know what to do. And she said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to hold my baby.
Question.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I want to hold my baby. She says, go and hold your baby.
Yeah.
Go and hold your baby. It's your baby.
Wow.
It's your baby. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. It's your baby.
I wish
and
more health visitors were like
honestly, that was when I was able to break that hold, that all these teachings out on me. And then she slept with me in the bed.
See?
I let her sleep up. That, don't let baby sleep in the bed. Don't let me.
Same here. Exactly.
Because where we come from, our babies are constantly attached to us.
Yes. Whether on our back,
somewhere,
everywhere.
feeding, whatever, they're always attached to us. And then you come to this country or the Western world, and they tell you, leave the baby in the cot to cry itself to sleep.
What is it? Self-soothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't stand that word.
No. why would a newborn baby know how to soothe itself? Why? Why are you the mother? Why would you just, if an wild animal heard his baby crying, it would run and grab the animal. It wouldn't say you cry yourself to sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's funny because I work in the space. My work full-time business is in the baby and children. And I come across moms, new moms all the time, my clients, and I just sometimes I feel so sorry for them, because the amount of information that's out there that's conflicting and has nothing to do with your natural intuition as a mom.
It's a lot.
And they would come, sometimes they'll say, I've read Dr. So-and-so, they name these gurus, like we didn't have, thankfully, when we had our kids, right? And they're naming them and the so-and-so method, are you doing A or B? I'm like, no, it's not, there's no template.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and not all babies are the same.
Not all babies are the same.
My baby slept through the night at 6 weeks old. I used to look at those moms and like, good
Okay. For you.
My child is 3, still not sleeping through the night. He's 4, he's still not sleeping through that. I'm like, thank you.
In my case, my first son did not have any teeth until after he turned 1. And he was a big child. So just think of the freaky nature of this situation, of this massive walking child who would suddenly start crying and there were no teeth. And I would say to my Mom, I'm really worried. She goes, Toksi, I have lived on earth for 60-something years. I have never seen a child with no teeth. So this child's teeth will eventually grow teeth. And that was my Yeah, but I really do believe in living authentically,
Yes.
living by intuition,
Yes.
and I have a personal vendetta against anyone that would try and force me into a box or force anyone I know into a box, because you can only be your best possible self when you're being yourself.
Exactly.
There's a phrase I saw somewhere that says that no one can be a better you than you. There was a guy who was, can't remember who it was, but he's an author and he was reading this book. He wanted to do his audiobook. I think he may have been Steve Harvey. And when he did the first trial, they said, no, it doesn't. It wasn't him, it was someone else. They said, it doesn't sound like you. He goes, but it's me.
Yeah.
And they felt, no, we want it to sound a certain way. And they went and got somebody else to do his own book reading, because they felt that society's expectation of what he should sound like audibly was different from.
Wow.
And so that's how far people will go to try and force you not to be yourself. So anyone does that, just call your second mom.
Yeah.
Let me know, and I will sort them out. What's the funniest story from? We'll start with Rachel, because we're getting Rachel out of the shy thing.
Yes.
So what's the funniest story you can think of, whether it's been you've done it on social media or not, that's happened to you, or maybe somebody that you love, someone in your family?
Well, it was funny and it was scary, but funny to watch back when we went to the sculpture garden.
Oh,
Where was that? And then we were all like really scared of the sculptures, and then we started crying. And then
I didn't.
you didn't start crying. And then,
Lizzie was laughing at us.
but then we watched it back, and it was really funny to watch back.
so wait, was it are you serious? Why was it scary?
So I didn't know there was such a thing.
And I've never heard
There's a
of one
word.
as well.
I can't remember the word. Some of them onomatopoeia thing. It's the fear of sculptures.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know it was a thing until I
So
posted that video.
start off, where is the sculpture garden? Is it in the UK?
On the way, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
We
on the
went
way to Cornwall.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of one.
And I was just, I try and find things for us to do that's different. And, and I was, this is going to be good. Sculpture garden, they've got huge sculptures. There's a big grounds, and there's a building there, and they have these sculptures that are in the garden. So there's like a teacup, which is
Life size.
massive
Okay.
teacup in the ground, like in the garden. So it's massive. It's bigger than this.
Wow.
And I thought that would be really cool and nice sculptures. But to get to the place where you pay to get in to go and see it, there are already sculptures along the way.
Okay.
We ran at one point because we saw one on the side that we didn't expect
Yeah,
to see.
we were
You
going
saw it,
around
and
the
then
corner.
We went around the
You
corner.
saw it, and then you screamed. I didn't even see what it was,
Yeah,
but I
we-
still
We
ran.
started running back.
I ran backwards. I ran back. I'm like, what is this? Let's go back in the car because I cannot walk past this statue.
Oh my
So we went back to the car. I got in the car to drive past. Even driving past the statue
was scary?
Was free. I was like, "Ah!" And they would go past a different one. Each time we saw a different one.
And they're
there was one
hiding
that
in
was
bushes.
They're
and
in the
like,
bushes.
So you won't see it.
So you don't see it straight away. All of a sudden you see this 3 spirits.
That's the one that made me cry. The spirit.
One was
like a
massive
jump
bull
scare.
that just
That was the one where you screamed like
I
a
screamed the
proper
highest
scream.
pitch scream I've ever screamed.
And it was so clear.
And it wasn't even a joke. I was scared. I was one big one that had no face. And I just called him the man, that man.
Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. So wait, but you carried on going into the garden?
No.
Oh, you
when we
were
got to
like
the top, I said, there's no point going any further because I haven't even started yet,
Oh,
and
so
I'm
you-
already scared.
so you didn't even
we
make
just
it
turned
in.
round. We turned round and left, and we had driven
That's
over
when
an
you
hour
saw
to
the
get there.
ball.
Yeah.
Over an hour, we turned round and left.
Even when we were leaving, we saw ones that we hadn't seen on the way there. And it was even more
Ball,
scary.
and that's
Like
when
That
you
was the
screamed.
ball.
There are more of us. So you were not scared.
No,
Were you
I
scared?
was a bit scared. I'm not that scared.
Were you scared, or were you scared because mommy was scared?
That might have been.
Yeah, maybe. But
We left my mum at the holiday place. 'Cause
Okay.
She was with us on the holiday, and we said we're going to this. She was like, "I'm not coming with you." So
I
she
wonder
said,
how mom would have felt.
Oh, when we got back and told her, she was like, "Hey, God told me not to follow you." See what you want to enter yourself into?
Wow. But you know what? I can imagine. I wonder how. I love thrills, but I'm almost tempted to go and try it out and see how
You
well
should.
I'll freak out,
You
because
should.
what comes to mind is I remember growing up. So in Benin, grew up in Benin, and we lived in a bungalow. So right outside my room window, there were all the bushes and everything. But I remember, and I'm sure this must have happened to you before, when maybe someone has hung a towel or something.
Yes.
And then at the middle of the night, you wake up, and as far as you're concerned, it's a dog with no tail, or a cow with no face. And there's nothing that anyone can tell you at that point that what you're seeing isn't what it is. Even when you know that I put my dress there, you know,
Yeah, it's probably my dress.
Yeah.
Well, no, your
So
brain
there's-
will still tell
It's
you.
still telling you. So there's a real thing as a fear of sculptures.
Yes,
Sculptures,
there is.
really.
Yeah, there is. Yes.
Wow.
It was actually one of our followers DM'd me and said,
Really?
"Yeah, it's an actual thing." She told me the name of it, and I was like, "Wow, I never realized that." And I said,
know.
"I don't know if it's a fear of sculptures or if it's just my Nigerian background."
Yes.
Because
it's
in Nigeria,
true.
when you
That's
see
a-
statue, it's to do with witchcraft.
I say we don't need no questions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So as far as I was concerned, everything I was seeing is juju.
Yeah, that's true.
It's spirits
Yeah,
and
it's
one
very-
man's.
It's
And-
Ogu or
Yes.
one god or something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know whether it's not all statues. I'm afraid. At least I've
Okay,
seen
you
a statue
said
of
stat-
Jesus before, and I
Right,
wasn't afraid.
right.
I was
Yeah, so maybe
I was
that's
fine.
what it is.
It's those sculptures were
Yeah.
scary to me. You know.
Yeah.
even when I went to a museum with my school for an art trip, there were loads of sculptures there, and I had to close my eyes. And because we went to this exhibition, and to get to there, we had to go through this specific part with lots of scary sculptures. Was scary to
Wow.
me, and I literally, my friend had to guide me. Through I closed my eyes, and she had to guide me.
Oh wow.
Only you were scared.
So maybe you are actually scared of
Maybe.
sculptures.
Oh, that experience scarred you.
Yeah, that's
Maybe I
bad for
actually
life.
have. Maybe I.
We need to go again and challenge ourselves to actually
Yeah.
go,
To go
with
through it.
Yes.
I wonder if grandma will go. Like where?
No way.
Oh. Okay, Lizzie, most embarrassing moment.
I don't know. I get embarrassed a lot, and I just it's not embarrassing unless you feel embarrassed. So I think
This girl's dropping some wisdom. It's not embarrassing.
Can I just say my
unless you feel
whole like since I was 7 to 11, I didn't like how I looked then. So looking back at that, I'm embarrassed about that.
Okay, about how you felt.
How I was like so like I used to talk a lot and like talk nonsense.
You only feel that way now on watching videos of yourself back then.
Yeah.
So you're embarrassed for your old self.
And your old
Yeah.
self was fine with it then.
Yes, your old self was perfectly happy
True,
and fine
yeah.
with it. Even how
Yeah.
you looked. Like Lizzie used to be, you know, the curvy, chubby
round
one. Rachel was a little skinny
pregnant
thing.
belly.
Okay.
And because I had this thing, I have a weight thing. So I didn't want her to feel
Okay.
like she was less beautiful because she was chubby. So I used to always sing to her about how beautiful she is, about her chubbiness is beautiful,
nice,
and she's
yeah.
got this African real beautiful. You know, I used to sing that to her all the time to make her feel confident in herself.
beautiful.
Until the day this one said to me, "Mommy, I'm ugly, I'm skinny."
Oh, of course.
I'm like, what have I done now?
Goodness.
What have I done now? Because there I am thinking,
Yeah.
she's skinny, so she won't have
She'll be
any
fine.
issues.
Yeah, you're right, you know.
But then because I've gone so much into building her up about how beautiful she is, the
Yeah.
way she's now
She
interpreted
felt-
that as because I'm not big, I'm
Then
not
I
beautiful.
can be. Oh my God, we can't win.
You can't win, you know? You can't win. So now I have to start reversing everything. I was like, no, everybody is beautiful. Oh, big or skinny or anything you tall, short, whatever, you are beautiful.
beautiful.
In fact, I'm not even going to talk about anybody's
No,
body.
we're not.
Let's not discuss anybody's body.
Oh, that's too funny. But you know what's funny though is that I wonder if you had never sang to her, okay, yes, we know society would have come anyway for
Yeah.
her, but if you'd never even paid attention to her size or her shape or her figure, she would probably not have had an issue with it. Do you think?
Yeah, she probably wouldn't have.
I mean, which she didn't have an issue anyway, but it was
issue that I had projected onto her.
Yeah, your
which is the problem.
expectations.
Yes, I expected that she would have low self-esteem because I had low self-esteem because of my size. So I expected that she would. So I projected that, and I was trying to prevent her from having the low self-esteem.
Wow.
She would not have had it anyway.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had it. No. Oh my God! You know what?
Parenting is not easy.
Listen. I mean, I go as far as saying, and some people probably shoot me for this, but I've actually uttered a few times that people who don't have kids have a special blessing that they're totally unaware of. Honestly, it's different. Maybe we'll edit that part off.
It's psychology. You need to have psychology. You need to. There's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot, and it doesn't come with a manual.
Yeah.
And even if you've successfully raised one child, you've got my second child showed me Pepe. My goodness, he was the one child that I had my knees on the ground for. I was so scared.
What?
And I'm talking of from babyhood. And the first one was perfection.
Oh.
So he was perfection, and then this one comes out.
I'm perfection.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about the second child, you know. And he just like. I remember one time in secondary school, we were constantly getting letters from school.
Okay.
And it was tiny little things, you know. And he's funny as well.
Yeah.
So one time the head teacher finally called and said we need a meeting. So my husband and I went for the meeting, and they came up with a binder. And they started reading out all of his atrocities. And it was, Reese was flying a paper plane in class. Reese was calling another child chubby, chubby, chubby in class. Reese started chewing gum on somebody's head. Even when he was, I remember, because we used to live in the US, and I remember he had a, so the way they do the education there, every elementary school, every single Friday, you get a report from school.
Wow.
So yeah, every Friday, like, you know, you get a report from school, from the teacher. So he had been acting up in class, just messing around. And now we're talking of, he was probably 5 or 6 at the time. So acting up in class, being a clown.
Yeah.
And the teacher said to him, I'm going to tell your brother, because his older brother was in the same school, but obviously in a different class.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell your brother. And Reese couldn't quite read at the time. Reese takes his report card and he writes in his very little limited writing that he could, Reese was good. When I told my mom, my mom put the fear of God in me. She says, I'll tell exactly how she went, Otio, that's really bad. And I went from my son falsifying his report
at the age of 5
to becoming an armed robber, ending up in jail. There's no way now. It's already happened. Like, this is how it starts, and all of that. So he really did scare us. And then all of a sudden, complete turnaround.
Yeah.
Oh, he plays American football, and my husband said to him, "You know what? You're not doing football anymore."
Oh no.
This boy switched. Instantly.
Wow.
When I say he switched, I mean instantly.
Wow.
We went for parents-teachers meeting, and the teacher was just looking at him angrily, and just, I just don't know what to say. He's just been behaving himself. Like, he was annoyed. He was angry. And all of them were saying, well, there's nothing really to report. I mean, his grades are okay. He hasn't been acting up in class. There was a resentment. The resentment had built over a period of time.
He was the shop banker complaining. And he's doing this, ruining the fun with them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, and so children are so different, and you know.
Yes.
And all we can do is try and then use our intuition and just be authentic and just, you know what, I feel like holding my baby our boys all slept with us in the bed, literally, till it was ridiculous for them to not be in the bed anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have so many families that say, no, you shouldn't do
my
that.
goodness. Too many. Too many.
And then they complain that they're not close with their kids.
Exactly.
When you push them into a cot at 3 months of age in a separate room, you know,
exactly.
What kind of closeness are you looking for now that they're 16 and 17?
Exactly. It's not going to happen, you know. Oh yeah, but it's just cultural differences, and you know, I am thankful. I think that we were born into the culture and the society we needed to be to become who we were supposed to be, and all of it has shaped us and helped us. Like we were supposed to be Nigerians through and through and have the experiences that. Where did you go to school? Did you school in Nigeria?
Oh, wow. That's a long story. I was born in London and then I went to Nigeria as a baby.
Okay.
So I started primary school in Nigeria.
Okay.
Then in the middle of primary school, I came back to London. I finished primary school, started secondary school, then went back to Nigeria. Finished secondary school, started uni, then came back to England. So so anytime people ask, well, where did you school?
You're like, how long have you got? Interesting.
So I've done half and half of everything. Back and forth. So I finished uni here. Worked to completely change courses because I was actually studying medicine in Nigeria. And when I came back to England, I decided that I didn't want to go through the stress of trying to get into medical school. So I just did something that was still kind of medical, but less demanding.
Interesting. So we have almost similar experiences. So I was born in Scotland, but then moved to Nigeria as a baby. And then I grew up, spent most of my teenage years in Nigeria, went to secondary school, and I schooled in the north of Nigeria, which is a very different culture and very different experience from Lagos or any of those, or Ibadan, or any of those places. So I thankfully have a very good grasp on the different cultures of Nigeria, and it was boarding house, which meant that it was a melting pot of all the different tribes. And it was also a military school, so that was a totally different story. Wow. And then came to England and went to sixth form here. And university, and I was supposed to study medicine as well. I was supposed to study, it was written in the stars from when I was a child because my father's a retired doctor and I used to read his books.
So there was, she's supposed to be a doctor.
She's supposed to be a doctor.
She's supposed to be a doctor. That was the thing, So I just do. I went into medical school. See,
but unlike you got into medical school. I'll tell you what I did. Because I also was lucky to have had parents who told us how intelligent we were and Toks, you're so smart and you can be anything you want to be. That's supposed to be a nice thing, but I kind of took it to the other level and I thought I didn't need to study for A-levels. So I failed so woefully when I did my A-levels and I was shocked. I was like, what kind of grades are this? Like, why? And I was like, it's the grades people get when they don't actually study. And so I decided to do pharmacology. Because I thought I'm going to do a related medical, something in medical field. And I'll do pharmacology. And then when I'm done, I'm going to definitely go into medical school. So that was the plan. But then I got married in my second year at uni and went from attending human physiology lessons and started spending more of my time at home base and fads, doing up my flats. I didn't do media wall units. I didn't go that far. As a matter of fact, I did attend some major projects and halfway through I'd be like, I beg, I can't. You did to me. Amazingly well. That's another
it's because I was posting it on social media. There were times I was like, I'll sit there like this. I'll be looking at it.
So what made me start?
I'll just stare like,
no, you did.
I can't stop now because people are waiting to see. People are waiting to see. I can't stop it now.
No, that if you guys haven't seen her wall unit, her media wall, you've got to go onto Celia Toks' everything and find it because it is, even the color you chose, everything.
I changed the colors. I started off with a grey.
And
because I wanted a grey, but the paint that I bought, it looked more like blue, and I was like, this looks like blue. So I went and got another one, which was more the grey that I wanted. Then I painted over it to get the grey that I wanted. Then when I got that later, I was like, I think I actually liked that blue. The wrong blue. I'm going to paint it.
So you did?
Yeah, I painted it back.
It doesn't really look like blue anymore.
No, it looks like steel blue.
Yeah,
it looks like
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Nah, you did well. You really did. Yeah, I started, and it was then I got into DIY and started decorating my flat, and I was as broke as they come. Like I had no money, but I thought I'm gonna go anyway to B&Q, and they would have this bucket where they sold last wallpapers and
discounted,
discounted items, and I'll grab a wallpaper roll, grab a knife, and I'll trim it all the way down to turn it into a border. And then I couldn't afford colored paint, so no blue or gray for me. It was just white. But then I bought dye and I'd mix in the colors and I'll get different colors and that was how I painted my flat. And the bathroom was blue and the living room was
you found a passion there for decorating.
I did, yeah. But then one day I woke up and said, Toks, let's face it, you've dropped out of uni. And I'm like, yeah.
Was it like an avoidance thing?
I don't think it was, because I was so passionate about my course. I loved it so much. I loved everything about it. Yeah. I mean, it was a little bit, maybe that may have become, oh my goodness, no. So, but I thought that was brilliant. So I ended up doing that. And then that was how I then I became a medical rep. So I worked for a pharmaceutical company for a while. Okay. And after I had my third son, they were not willing to give me back the regular hours. The hours I wanted. After maternity. And I happened to be reading a book at the time where someone had written in and said, how do I know what my gift is? And the author said, your gift is that thing you do so effortlessly that everyone thinks it's a big deal except you.
Yeah.
And I thought,
I've seen that quote somewhere.
Have you?
Yeah. I've seen that quote somewhere.
That was it. And I just thought, okay, everybody loves my home. Everyone thinks that my decoration skills are brilliant. Yeah. That's it. That's my gift. And so I went and enrolled in an interior design course and then studied interior design and then started an interior design firm. Yeah. But I had only been running it for a few months when, in fact, Susie was my very first client. Oh. I did the baby's nursery and yeah, so been running it for a few months when one day my husband comes back from work and says, why don't we move to the US? I was like, yeah, let's go. So we sold our home and packed our boys and we moved. And that's how we ended up there. But in the process, purchased a baby furniture company. Yeah. And that was how I got into that.
Wow.
So long-winded as well.
But you ended up where you were meant to.
Well, yeah.
Something
hopefully.
That you enjoy doing. Yeah.
I do love it. I enjoy it. But I can see other things that I can see myself. I can definitely.
I've looked at interior decorating. I've researched it. I've spoken to people, and I was like, you know what? No one's gonna hire me as an interior decorator when there are so many other talented interior decorators. Who's gonna just hire you? Somebody comes out of nowhere.
But you know why they would? It's because, and that's one thing about creative people. There are no two people that are the same. Like your vision and your idea for something. Like if someone had said a media wall unit, you alone knew what you wanted it to look like. And it was hidden in your mind. Nobody else knew. So you may have described it and everything, maybe even seen some pictures, but the way it's came out because of the way you made it.
That's right, true.
So if you ever want to consider that.
Yeah, so Rachel and I, we were talking, we had a whole business idea. Oh gosh, yes. You remember? Ready room. Don't touch. Yeah, don't expose our
Yes. We're going to edit this part. Because there are people watching.
There are people watching and listening.
I don't know about
our ideas. You know?
No, listen. If you ever want to go into it, definitely.
Yeah. We've talked about it, haven't we? Because Rachel has that. She has the love for that as well.
Okay. So I'll give you some pointers or connect you with good people. I don't know how long we've been talking for.
I know, right?
But this has been great. Yeah, indeed. Okay, so tell us something surprising about you that nobody else knows.
I'm an open book. Everyone knows everything about me. Let me see. What does nobody know about? Okay, I guess nobody really knows that I had surgery on my eye for glaucoma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't talk about it because it's just, I think I was healed.
Yeah, so, but you were healed.
Yeah, so I don't really,
because healing comes in different ways.
Exactly. So I was using eye drops for a while after, but then it was when I was pregnant, they told me to stop using the drops and I never needed them again after that.
Good. So also, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I held you then.
Sorry?
I healed you then.
Yeah, she healed you.
Actually, it was Rachel. Oh. Sorry.
Well, you know what you did? You prepared the way. Yeah. Because there would be no Rachel if it wasn't for you.
That's true.
You know, you're the room opener.
Yeah.
What's one book or blog that you're reading?
I don't read.
You don't read?
I don't read. I don't have patience for reading. When I finish uni, I throw all my books in the garage.
Oh my God, you're like, I'm done.
I was like, I'm done. I'm not even going to read expiry dates of milk. I'm not reading nothing. But I used to be a big reader when I was younger. As a teenager, I used to read novels a lot. Then I stopped because...
Did you do Mills and Boons?
This is the thing. people were starting to give me meals and boons, but I was kind of reading above my age, but I didn't want to read above my age because it was inappropriate. So I literally just stopped reading. Yeah, I think I was
What were
like
you-
14.
what were you
I just
reading?
stopped reading. I used to read lots of like thriller type books,
Okay.
or this book with my mum actually called Flowers in the Attic. It was like a series of books.
Okay.
I read that, and I don't think it was age appropriate because I was 13 or 14.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was age appropriate.
Is that why you were scared of putting the stuff
That's
in
why
the loft?
I'm scared of
the other
attics,
day?
aren't I? Now?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't like anything scary. No, not movies, not books. I just stay
Yeah.
away from it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind.
Do you listen to podcasts?
No. I always say I'm going to. I always say I'm going to, you know, and then I forget. Like, there's a couple of podcasts that I'm like, oh, I need to listen to that. One is in Kitchi, as you probably know her. She's on Instagram.
I don't think I do, you know.
What's her full name? Kelechi, not Nkechi. Kelechi.
Oh, Kelechi.
She's...
Is it Kelechi? Oh, is it, I think I know her.
Yeah, so, I don't know why I've forgotten her full
Yeah.
name.
But, is it Machine Gun Kelechi?
No, she has this pole dancing.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, with her baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always said I'm going to listen to that podcast, you know, and I just don't.
You don't.
I told you I was going to listen to it, and I haven't. There's another one that somebody sent me a message about. I said, oh, I'm going to listen to that podcast. I haven't.
You haven't.
I'm just terrible with things like that. I get, because I hyper focus on certain things so much that I don't give myself room to do other stuff. So so I get carried out. If I go to work, then it's social media, it's planning the video, or we're just going through social media and say like what trends are going at the moment.
Yeah.
Do I want to do that trend? Most of the time I say no.
Oh.
So,
How about you? Reading? What do you like to read? Do you read? I mean, obviously you read because you're
why
in
you do
school,
your face like that? Like you don't read
that much.
Rach doesn't read.
No.
No.
I
really.
do every once in a while.
Okay.
Not really.
Did you used to read when you were younger?
This one.
I used to hide
She
my book
started
in
school.
the little pocket.
You know those little books they give them when they start school,
Yeah.
when they're in reception.
Yeah.
She used to roll it and put it in the pocket of her book bag and hide it. So I'm like, okay, Rachel, bring your book. Let's
Rachel.
read. Let's read. She was like, I'm like, where's your book? Didn't you get a book?
Wow, Rachel, you have skills.
4 years old. No book. This went on for weeks until one day I was like, this can't be.
This is not possible.
Why are they not sending books home with you? This is wrong. I'm going to call the school and find out what's going on. Let me just check her bag properly. And then
And
I
you saw
checked.
them rolled
Now
up.
found it rolled up in
Oh
there.
my goodness.
But if she finds a book that she likes,
Yeah.
then she will read
You'd
and she'll
read
read and
it.
she'll read. I think you're the same as well. If you find something that you really like,
I
you'll read
try
it.
to read because
You force yourself to read. Yeah.
But
Rachel doesn't force herself to
I
read.
don't know why. I like books and I don't like the ending, and then I don't like reading again. I don't think.
What kind of endings would you prefer? Like, would you like
I think
a happy?
I think I have to read like crime or thriller for me to actually properly read. I don't like fantasy books where it's just lots of describing the world, and it's nice, but it gets a bit boring for me
yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just need the right books.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it's hard. I love Chimamanda.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I should get you some of her books actually.
And if you like, and because you've got a creative side to you as well, what I love about her books, I mean, like there's the Purple Hibiscus, I don't even remember the detail of that book. It's just the way she crafts the words.
Yes.
You know, like she really just has this way of writing.
talented.
Yeah. And another person is like that is Maya Angelou.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she's got her whole biography out, and it's hilarious because she's self-deprecating. She laughs at herself, she mocks herself, but she's also another brilliant person that just her way with words.
I know.
Yeah, but I don't like anything sad. I don't like sad movies. I just
I do. Oh really? Well, I don't. They'll be like, why do you always watch these movies and make you cry?
Yeah.
You just sit there and you cry, and I'll be crying. Like, Mommy, they'll be consoling me. Like, mommy, it's okay, mommy, it's okay. But why do you watch this movie? Because it's happened to somebody in real life.
Oh my God, that's even worse. That's for me. That was Forrest Gump. When I watched Forrest Gump, I cried non-stop in the cinema. And I said never again. And the reason I cried was because even though his story was fictitious, I knew that it happened. There were people like that.
Exactly.
So I just thought, goodness, I can't do this.
Yeah.
There's too much sadness in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so any apps or tips if someone, one of the things we talk a lot about is being authentic, being introspective, really living from the inside out, like the podcast says. What would be your tip for someone to live authentically or live from the inside out?
I think it would be to believe, first of all, that you are okay. You are enough. You are good. No matter what anybody says, no matter how anybody treats you, believe that you are okay. And if everybody else doesn't think so, then let them go.
Right. I love that.
Just let them go, because there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
It's because I spent so much of my life thinking there's something wrong with me. That's why I've lost these friends. That's why I don't have those friends. That's why these relationships have ended. If something is wrong with me, that I don't do things right. I don't know. Then I got to the point I was like, you know what? Then let me just be by myself. Let me love myself as I am. And if everybody thinks there's something wrong with me, then they don't have to be around me. Let them go. And I just stay by myself, me and the people who actually love me.
Absolutely.
With or whatever my faults that they think are my faults, I just stay with that. But you get the people that actually love you, who would say to you, there's nothing wrong with you. Like I have a couple of friends who would say, there's nothing wrong with you. Why do you? Like, because I'm telling one friend about another friend who is no longer my friend and why she's no longer my friend. And I think maybe it's me. She's like, no, it's not you.
It's not you.
It's not
Sylvia
you.
and I are in that space right now where we're like deleting season.
Yes.
Like ruthless.
Yes. It has to be, because it saps you.
It does,
Of the energy that you need to actually have that authentic, happy life.
Yeah.
It saps you, because you're always trying to be the person that you want them to accept. And then you find out that, why am I striving to be accepted by this person? Because actually that person isn't a good person.
See, that's
like
even...
the things this person has said to me, I would never say it to them. So she can't be a good person. So why am I trying so hard to be accepted by this person who is the one hurting my feelings?
Exactly.
There's no point.
I agree 100%.
Until the kids grow up and leave home, then I know.
No, but you know what it is though? It's like the people that are supposed to be in your life. I think that we certainly do go through seasons where people do have to drop off.
Yeah.
Because not everyone who started with you is going to go all the way with you. And the people who drop off, you may not even recognize how amazingly blessed you are for losing them.
Yes.
You might not know it in the moment, but as time goes on, you look back and you realize. So what we were even talking about it this morning and saying how, when there are people who come to prepare you for who you're supposed to become, but they're not necessarily meant to be with that person. Exactly.
True.
So, but I love that, you're enough as it is. And I think that that's something that we need to even chant until we believe it, because most of us live primarily by our senses and our emotions. So if we feel we're not enough, then we believe we're not enough.
Exactly.
And if we see physical evidence that suggests we're not enough, then we believe that as well.
Exactly.
And so we've got to teach our minds and program our minds like, I am so enough. There's nothing wrong with me. Exactly. So I love that. Thank you.
I've made friends on social media.
See?
Like people who just message me. There's a funny one. There's this one lady who would message me a lot, DM me, and I DM back. We chat, and we basically became friends, just chatting back and forth. And there was another lady we would DM, would chat back and forth. I was like, oh, my DM, my friends, we DM back and forth. And then there was a video, one of them commented and said, this is exactly like mum. And she tagged this other lady.
Okay.
And I realized that they were sisters.
Oh.
And I was like, what? Excuse me? I was like, are you two sisters? They were like, yes. I'm like, well, how is it that my two, DM besties are sisters?
Are actually sisters.
They're actually sisters. So we arranged to meet up.
Course.
We met up in Bristol. The
That's
three of us
nice.
sitting there looking like we're all from the same family.
That is
so
cool.
I find that I've met people on social media that I absolutely adore. Such lovely people. What you see of me is what you get. I don't pretend, like you said, we don't pretend to be what we're not.
No.
I don't act like I'm the perfect mom or we have a perfect relationship. People just see us for who we are.
Yeah. And I think that I think there are people that you're supposed to connect with, and those people can only recognize you when you're being yourself, which is what you are.
True.
And so that's why, you're having sisters raised by the same mom, and they happen to
completely
be
different.
and they come into you and build a relationship with you.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's amazing. It's funny how God would just make sure that the right people come into our life regardless, whatever route he uses, That's nice. So how about you? Do you have any tips for
I think
getting people to be more authentic, to be themselves, or it doesn't have to be as limited as that, just any tip at all.
Yeah, I think with social media, it's tempting to not be yourself and just act fake to make people like you. But I think, like, obviously don't share everything you're doing online, but I think if you're not hiding anything and you don't feel like you're a bad person, and you think you're a good person and you're normal and what you do is normal, then you shouldn't be worried about hiding anything.
Love
you should
that.
post what you feel what you feel is cool and what you feel is normal. So yeah.
Love that. So smart, these girls of mine. Rachel?
Well, yeah, like the same thing. Like, there's always going to be people who, like, there are trends that go around, and then there are people who follow the trends, and then there are people who don't follow the trends. So just choose which one you want to be, but just don't change yourself
For other people.
to follow the trends. Just,
Don't lie just to follow a trend.
Yeah.
Or like if you're not, I don't follow trends, I'm different. That, again, you're still following the trend of being not following the trend. You know what I mean? You're still following the trend. If the trend is cool and you want to do it, then do it. Don't try and act different.
Yeah, you're right. I say that as well. Sometimes you have these women, and again, because of the space I'm in, a lot of women would literally they've had their baby and then they strip down and they're like, oh, this is just me, my post-baby body. And I can see many women are trying hard to say that it's okay to have, which is wonderful.
Yes.
But you can also see that a lot of it is also for attention as well.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
is. I find a lot of... I watch them, I'm like,
I see you.
I'm like, we all know it's okay. You don't have to show us.
Right, exactly.
Yes, it's possible. We all have the stretch marks and the flabbiness.
Exactly.
We don't need you to tell us it's okay. It's okay.
Especially when they do it over and over and
It's like, it's too much.
when they do it over again, they're just doing it for the likes. And
That's it. You guys are so amazing.
Oh,
I could keep chatting like forever.
This is fun.
We need to have a nice date where we literally sit down and maybe do a Nigerian restaurant.
Yes, that would be nice.
That would be so cool.
That would be very nice. Yes.
So please tell us, Rachel, you're going to do this final part. Okay. Where can people find you?
TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, but mostly TikTok and Instagram. Mostly Instagram. We post on Instagram pretty much every day. So,
and what's the handle?
Celia Toks family.
She doesn't even know.
Because it changes.
She's a star.
It never changes, Rachel.
I don't know whether it's just Celia Toks or Celia Toks.
It's Celia Toks family. It doesn't matter. If you put Celia Toks, you will find us.
Yeah. You know what?
There's only one Celia Toks,
Right. What Rachel just did there is like, my people know those little details. I don't get to know because I'm a star.
Exactly. I just stay in the background and,
thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
This has been super, super fun. I really enjoyed it. Did not even go through half the questions, but it's okay. We have to. We definitely have to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what did you think about my conversation with Celia and her girls? Are they not the most adorable family? I took away quite a bit from them. I love the authenticity, the love, the laughter, the freedom, the liberation that the girls have. And it's just beautiful to see. And I also took away some lessons and nuggets about raising children gently and authentically, and managing to have a healthy relationship with them, even though she's their mother. What did you learn? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But in the meantime, live from the inside out. See you soon.